Hey guys, what's up? Madseason here, back with another episode in my tip series for Classic World of Warcraft. This is number 3 in the series, where I show you a handful of random tips to make your time in Classic Azeroth a bit easier. Not to depress you too much, but let's start off with some death. Luckily though, in Azeroth, death isn't as permanent, and you can actually use it to your advantage. There are a handful of items and spells that you can use to kill yourself, which saves you that standard 10% durability reduction you get when you die. First is exclusive to Warlocks, and that's their Hellfire spell. In addition to dealing some area of effect fire damage to all nearby enemies, it deals damage to you as well, and
I thought
can
that couldn't
kill you if you don't.
I thought that couldn't kill you. I thought it would only take you to 1 health, and you run out of health, so you can't cast it. Is that not true in Classic? That's later? It kills you. That's in retail. What the fuck? I didn't even know that. Oh my god, I remember like maybe a long time ago, I was on my Warlock and I killed myself with this once, and I didn't know it was going to happen. This is crazy.
Have the health to spend. Fortunately for you though, death through Hellfire doesn't trigger the durability hit, so have this and life tap at the ready for when things go south, and save yourself some gold.
Damn, that's a good idea.
As I said though, there do also exist some items that any class can use, and those are the Dark and Demonic Runes. They function similar to the life tap spell. You get some mana in exchange for life, and if you use it at a low enough health level, it will indeed kill you with no loss to durability.
Wow.
Even if you don't use mana, in that case it'll just deal damage to you. The Dark Runes you get from enemies located inside the Skullman's
Damn, that's a good idea.
And the Demonics you get from elite
what the
demon
fuck? That's a good
enemies
idea.
located throughout the game. So always keep these handy to save yourself some gold.
Hell yeah.
The Demonic Runes, if you may have noticed, are bind on pickup, so it's definitely a better alternative to selling them. But the Dark Runes, however, aren't soulbound.
You can get those in Dire
Maul. Fetch a pretty penny on the auction house, depending on your economy. So you may choose to sell those ones instead.
I feel like, actually, like, I don't know if that's a good idea. Because, like, it depends. In my opinion, right? Like, you have... It costs money to buy those. So the only time I think it would be worth it is if you just don't want to have to go out and repair during a raid. So like if it costs money to use those or to sell them, right? Because either way, you use one or you sell it, it's the same thing. You're still losing money. Is using one cheaper than the repair bill? I don't know. I think it depends. They drop in Skolo? Yeah, maybe.
And next up,
Demonic
we have
is
another handy
I
macro,
think they drop in Felwood
this
too.
time for hunters. This was passed to me recently, so I thought I'd share it. But as a hunter in Classic, you'll find that you have a bunch of pet management abilities. Call pet, dismiss pet, mend, revive, feed. This is a handy macro that combines all of these into just one button.
That's really
just
useful.
bind it to any free key. I'll be using X in this example.
Okay.
So if your pet is out, you just hit X to feed. You can either manually click food in your inventory, or just control click at the end of this macro to have that done automatically.
Wow.
You can hit Control X to dismiss your pet, and then Alt X to also mend it. And if your pet isn't out, hitting X will just summon it, and if it's dead, you just hit Alt X to revive it.
To be honest, that's too complicated. I'd rather just click the buttons. By Alt X, like what the fuck is this, like X-Men? Like what the fuck, dude? Like I honestly, I'd rather just click it. And like I know, the thing is, like, I have like friends of mine that like used to always get like these really complex macros, and they would spend more time trying to figure out how the fuck the macros are supposed to work than just figuring out their key bindings if they didn't need the macros. I don't know if I'd use it. I think that like having to shift, like a shift modifier for like feed or like for you know, feed pet versus you know, fucking mend pet, I think that'd be really cool though.
Really efficient actually, and it saves you a bunch of keybinds, which is super valuable as a hunter in Classic since you have so many spells and abilities. I'll have it linked in the description for you. And next up, we have some skips. Eventually, you'll need to switch continents for quests or weapon training. And for the Alliance, the run from Ironforge to Menethil Harbor was particularly brutal if you were low level.
Oh, this is the one that Esmon showed us.
Death run from their
I remember this.
Ironforge.
This was so good.
There do exist some skips though.
This was so
First,
fucking
from
good.
Ironforge to Menethil, you want to head all the way west here near Nomad.
Oh, I remember we were doing this, and then didn't we see Madseason whenever we did the jump? I feel like we did, right? It was so long ago, I don't remember. It was like pretty early on. It was really cool though. Watch this.
Gun and find this mountain range.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it, but you can climb up here, and heading north along this path, If you jump to your death right here and release Spirit, you'll be teleported to the Spirit Reser right near Menethil Harbor. And from here, you just Spirit Res and just walk right in.
Yep.
There also exists a skip from Menethil to Ironforge. From the docks, you just want to head west and swim for quite a ways. This footage is sped up, of course, and it takes about 6 minutes, and you want to keep going until you reach this spot on the map. Just stay near the land and keep an eye out for snow on your mini-map.
Okay.
And next, you just want to drown yourself in the water right here. If you release, you'll be teleported to the Kharanos Spirit Healer, and from there, it's just a short walk to Ironforge. The negative with this method is that you miss the Thelsamar flight path that you'd pass just going the normal way, but the positive is that you don't die 100 times from crocodiles and orcs, and it's...
I actually wish they didn't have that. I'm gonna be honest. I wish they didn't have that. I always thought, like, I remember my mom did the wetlands run because she was a night elf, and she had to go all the way over to Ironforge, and I was like, she's like, can you come with me? I'm like, nah, man, you gotta do this shit yourself, man. I was like a lot of people. I was like Redditors, you know. I was like, man, you gotta earn everything yourself. You gotta do everything yourself. I can't help you with anything, right? No, I was like that. And, you know, now I'm not anymore, but I used to be like that. And, yeah, so she did it herself, man. That took her like 3 hours because she didn't know where the fuck to go. She's like, where's Ironforge? Open up your map. It's like right there. She's like, where am I? Right, you know, over there. I was like, okay. And she made it. It took her a while, but she made it.
Gives a bit of time. Even more if you happen to catch the boat right here and jump off in transit. I did time it. The drowning method takes about 12-ish minutes from Menethil to Ironforge, and the death run method is about 20 minutes with no deaths. So realistically, if you're a lower level, you should probably add about
like
10 more
40
minutes to account for all the deaths.
More like 40, dude.
So it's a bit of saved time and frustration for a flight path. It really depends on your preference. And another super simple but handy one can be found right here in Stormwind. Oftentimes, you'll want to head to Goldshire for some erotic role-playing just outside the city, and normally you'd want to go all the way through the city, but with some careful jumping, you can just hop on this barrel and then stick to the wall and go along this ledge right outside to save yourself some precious seconds.
It really is precious in that circumstance. It's very true. I mean, listen, in terms of hopping, right, like I am actually like a jumping god. Like, I'm actually going to think about, maybe I should make a video, or I'm not going to do that, right? Maybe I go through a stream and I'll show you guys different jumping methods to save time.
You can also save some time through death warping, more useful for low-level characters. One of the things with Classic is that there are very few spirit healers. Usually they're near the hub, so oftentimes it can be advantageous to die intentionally and then spirit res back if your Hearthstone is on cooldown or something. Again, this is really only useful for newer characters since they don't get resurrection sickness until level 10. And since you're replacing your gear so quickly,
it doesn't even matter.
Durability really isn't a huge issue.
It's an actual pog.
And another tip is that you can die in command by going into your help menu and then clicking the character stuck button.
So I don't know why, like, this teleport to graveyard. Like, I don't know. See, I didn't read the if this option character to die and be teleported to graveyard. See, I didn't know that. I didn't read the die part. You know, I just saw the teleport to graveyard. I'm like, okay, cool. And I clicked that and I just fucking died. I was so upset. Remember my donation last week? A Punkcraft video, History of Classic WoW? Yeah, I remember that. You messaged me about it, I don't know, like 40 times.
The character will just commit Sudoku.
Yep.
It's useful if there happen to be no enemies around you. The Warlock's Curse of Recklessness is a criminally underrated spell, and there's some nifty things that you can do with it. Reading the tooltip, it says that it increases melee attack power of enemies, but it also makes them ignore fear and horror effects.
I used to go around and put this on low-level mobs whenever people be fighting on my Warlock. Like, somebody be fighting something low-level, I'd put Curse of Wreck on it, bitch. Bitch.
Fear is typically a risky crowd control in dungeons because you're always in danger of the mob running into another pack of enemies, but you can control it a bit.
Curse of Wreck is just really good in general.
You just cast fear, and if you get a bad
people don't
roll,
realize this,
bounce
but it's
between
really
Recklessness and another curse to override it until the mob runs in a safe direction. It's still probably a last resort type of situation, but it gives you a bit more control, and it could save the group.
That's really smart.
Paladins and Warlocks, as you probably know, get special exclusive mounts. The Paladins get the Warhorse and
Fuck
Charger.
Paladins.
And the Warlocks get the Felsteed and Dreadsteed.
Fuck Paladins.
That's all well and good, but they do have a downside, and that's the fact that they're technically spells and that they cost mana.
Yep.
If you get interrupted while casting it, you're locked out of that School of Magic. Holy for Paladins and Shadow for Warlocks. And what's more, since they're spells, they also interrupt your mana regeneration.
Really?
You may know about the 5-second rule, where if you don't cast anything for 5 seconds, your mana starts to regenerate.
What the
So this
fuck?
breaks that. And
Wow.
also cast slows, such as the Curse of Tongues and
Okay.
Mind-Numbing Poison, will also
Okay.
slow down the cast time of these mounts. Because of all of this, the more serious PvPers will forgo these exclusive mounts and just pick up normal ones.
That's
That's
crazy. I
something to
didn't even
consider
know
if
that.
you're
What the
super
fuck?
min-maxer type. And
Shit.
lastly, for number 10, we have Jousting. There are many weapons
yeah.
of many varying speeds in Classic. The slowest in the game is 4.0, and because of this, an important skill that you need to learn as melee is Jousting. You go in, and you get a hit when your swing is ready, and then you cut away until you're ready for the next one.
So you do this like whenever you duel people, right? Is like you need to have like as a good player, right? You need to know the weapon speed of every weapon in the game, right? So like you see Arcanite Reaper, you know that's 3.8. So if you know you're fighting against a 3.8 weapon, you want to make sure that you're spending more time. Sorry, you have the 3.8 weapon. You want to make sure you're jousting them and they're not jousting you. So like Corrupted Ashbringer, for example, or let's say like Thunderstrike. Thunderstrike's a really good example. It's a 3.10% speed, right? And so yeah, 3.10 I think. And so if you know that, you want to joust the fuck out of them if you got a 3.8 speed weapon, because that way you minimize the difference between the weapon speeds. So you move in, you hit them, then you run out. And you should just know that as like a PvPer. You should know the weapon speed of every single two-handed weapon in the entire game. Like that should just go at that should just go. It should just be. You should assume that, and it's essentially the same with like dual wielding, etc. Right? You should just assume that.
It's essential to master for both PvE
Yes.
and PvP. For
Mostly
slow,
PvP.
heavy-hitting melee classes, such as the Warrior, the Paladin,
Yeah.
or Enhancement Shaman. It gives you a huge edge compared to the non-jousters, and it'll win you many fights.
Yep, I've won
For
a lot
this,
of duels
you're gonna
because of
want a
this.
swing timer. You don't get one by default, but there are
Yep.
plenty of add-ons to choose from. I'll have my favorite one linked in the description for you. And that's about it. There are
Okay.
10 more tips and tricks for you.
These are really good ideas.
A pretty short one overall.
Those are all really good
but
ideas. I
It's
like this
just a
one.
random little series that I like to return to every once in a while. As always, it's more aimed for beginners, but hopefully you learned something new from it nonetheless.
Yeah,
Like it if you
these were
liked
all
it,
very, very
and I'll
helpful
see you in
tips.
the next one.
Yeah, these are all very, very helpful. Okay, are you going to use the Titanic leggings? Well, of course, they're really good. Yeah, why would I not use them?
Farewell for now.
Don't forget to like the video. I will like
Hope
the
you
video, and I'll
enjoyed
also link it to you guys, okay?
See you again.
A lot of duels against people over 20. No, I mean like during the beta, right? I mean like now I haven't really done a lot of duels or anything like that. Like I haven't had a chance to, honestly. I kind of am waiting for like the second phase to come out, and that way I'll do a lot more duels because I feel like I'll be more excited about doing it then. And let's see, I don't know how much.